stupid. Why do they keep saying busy? It's bothering me. On today's show, we have Harrison Fisher, president of Presenters Podium, music from Nick C., the Google Tip of the Week, and more. That's all up next on EduTechGuys Radio. EduTechGuys Radio, radio.edutechguys.com.
The opinions expressed on the site and its programs are those of participants and not intended to and do not necessarily reflect the opinions of any specific educational entity, sponsor, company, state, or government agency.
Hello and welcome to EduTechGuys Radio. Good afternoon to you. I'm David Henderson.
Hey, and I'm Jeff Madlock.
Welcome to the show. Thank you guys so much for tuning in, turning us on, hanging out with us.
Yeah, it's going to be a fun day. Got a very great guest here. Going to talk about, students, which we like to talk about, and telling their stories and helping them tell their stories.
Exactly.
That's the big one.
We're
right there.
all about that. So I'm very, very excited.
It's been a really good week. It's been a good couple of weeks. We've been really busy.
Yeah.
And been on Twitter a lot. I've been doing a lot of Twitter chat. Hey, check us out on the web, www.edutechguys.com. You can always catch us on any social media out there. All you have to do is go to Google, drop in there and put EduTech Guys, and I promise you we'll come up. We've done a lot of work there. No, we haven't. We just get really lucky. We're the only EduTech Guys out there. So that's how that kind of plays out. What's really great is we've got some great stuff on iTunes and Google Play. A lot of conference coverage there. If you've ever missed FETSI or you've missed any conference out there, TIAC, probably check our stuff out. We've probably got some great interviews from folks there. That's what we like to do, is let educators tell their story and tell us what's going down. So what's really cool is we have been doing a lot of ed chats lately on Twitter. EdTech After Dark, Tosa Chat, Minnesota, Iowa, Ohio. What's really cool about that is that there's a lot of great stuff out there, and people are starting to realize that it's the tech's real important. It is, but it doesn't have to be a lot of tech. It's just telling kids stories. It's letting kids tell their stories, because through their stories, that's how they actually get really comfortable of sharing and finding out about each other. Just the other night, on one of the chats, I don't remember which one it was about in the current political, atmosphere, what are we looking at, and, what's it going to be like for kids? And the kicker is we're right back to just show up, show up, listen, tell your story, and respect. I mean, it's pretty much the four things. If we can do that as a country, I guess that's always been the thing. I saw that carved on a tree in the, sequoia.
Yes. Yeah. You carved it.
Boy, the Audubon Society, Mr. Mayer, and those guys would kill me. I probably did carve it. I am a hoodlum like that.
Wouldn't that be like the Arbor Foundation or something?
Well, see, that whole area is odd. James, we'll get into that later.
Anyway.
Cool.
We'll do a mystery Skype.
I like how this says banter.
It does say,
because that's really all it is banter. But no, hey, if you would like us to discuss something on the show, or you just like to get in touch with us, check us out on the web at Twitter with hashtag ETGChat. That's a great way to catch us, or just catch us on Twitter. Yeah, that seems to be our social platform of choice lately. You can also find us on Instagram and all that other good stuff. We're out there.
Yeah, and especially for this particular show, that's going to be the best way to reach out to us. Our chat feed for the actual show on Mixlr isn't quite working correctly, I don't think. So, just reach out to us on Twitter, and we'll be happy to answer questions or address concerns or just hang out or whatever.
Yeah, we want to give a big shout out to GoPro and cross-braining.
Yes.
We were trying out one of their new GoPros they sent to us. Really cool stuff. If you want to know about cross-braining, hit them at crossbraining.com, or check them out on Twitter. Their motto, learn, capture, and share. They're doing some really cool stuff there, letting kids do their work, video it using GoPros, and then they edit it down into summary videos and then share it with parents and students and all that kind of stuff. Really neat stuff. So thanks for the GoPro. We'll try it out, and got some of your literature here on the table, so we'll throw it out there. Hey, I'm going to let you introduce our guest today.
Actually, I'm going to let our guest introduce himself. And we are very, very happy to have Harrison Fisher on board. And so if you would, which I just said who you were, so I don't know how much introduction of yourself that's going to take. But anyway, just let us know who you are and what you do and what you guys are doing at Presenters Podium.
Hey guys, so I'm sure you guys can hear me okay. Yeah,
Yeah.
Hmm.
perfect. Presenters Podium has been around for a few years now, and our vision is to help students really improve their verbal communication skills, but they're also doing that by talking about course material. So to be able to explain something is a lot different than just being able to memorize it well enough to, regurgitate it onto a test or an exam or an assignment or something like that. So we're really helping them learn, and also because they're reviewing one another's videos on the platform, they're learning from each other now too, which is a really interesting dynamic. So the whole idea was kind of bred out of our fear of public speaking.
Hmm.
And we thought, what would be a way that we could leverage technology so that you could have, continuous presentations, or, you'd call it, I guess, an oral assessment. And it's really challenging for professors to do oral assessments on a regular basis, especially in a larger class. So we got together with some computer science professors and students, and we put together a platform that we feel is bringing a great value to the students that are using it now. So
That's
yeah,
very cool. So, okay, so I'm going to latch onto this came about because of your own fear of public speaking.
yeah, uh,
So you built a public speaking platform. That's awesome.
yeah. A friend of mine and I, we got together and we actually started going to Toastmasters. I don't know if you've ever heard
Oh
of
yeah,
those
yeah.
Toastmasters. So we thought, this is great, and it actually was helping us quite a bit. And it was helping us not just so much because we had already left university by that point, so it was really helping us in our careers. And we thought, like, if you could take this value that you get out of Toastmasters, but then put it also in with a mix of, a pedagogical function,
Hmm.
it would be great for university students. So
Hmm.
that's kind of where we're at now. And the technology is still evolving. We're coming out with an update that we're gonna, hopefully bring more value to the professor and the student alike.
That's awesome. So, you're currently focused on the college student. Are you looking at expanding into, say, high school, possibly even middle school?
Yeah, we feel that I guess with the technology that we have right now, when it comes to, if you look at it vertically, you can go down
Hmm.
with the K to 12, or you can go up and you can go into, career wise.
Sure.
We're more shooting in that direction.
Hmm.
What we're actually doing, because we didn't realize it until students started asking us, they're like, how can I download my videos so that I can put them into an online portfolio
Sure.
so that I
Sure.
can show employers?
Right.
And we've had that request so many times that we thought, hey, why don't we just build that in as a feature? So now we have it, or we're working on it now. It's yet to be released, but we're having it so that now all the videos that you're doing as a part of your course are something that you can also showcase to a potential employer, to show them that you're not just good on paper, but you're you're personable, and you understand the theoretical concepts well enough to apply them, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah.
So
That's awesome.
so yeah, we're
So,
we're kind of going in that direction, instead of going down
yeah.
to K to 12.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
tell me a little bit about building like a course and then maybe sharing the assessment. Can you give me like a quick summation of that?
absolutely. So for professors, what they're doing is it's very easy. They go in and they register for an account, and we actually have a wizard so that if they're not comfortable with technology, which sometimes is the case,
Sure.
they can go in and it'll walk them through, start to finish, how they can create the course, which takes about 5 minutes. And from there, they're actually given a auto-generated syllabus that they can hand out or email out to students, and it's the complete the complete instructions on how the students can log in and link to their course.
Hmm.
So the rubric, it comes with a pre-filled rubric. Um, The students, essentially what they're experiencing is they're going on, they're seeing 3 subjects that are given to them by their professor. They make a presentation on one of those subjects, and they record it, they submit it, and then they have to return, and they get to watch their own video, which is very valuable. If you've ever seen yourself on
Yes.
video, you get to kind of pick up on all your quirks and all the things that you need improvement on.
Right.
Um, but at the same time, so because they're being self-critical of themselves, they're being a lot really introspective, but they also get to be randomly grouped in with 3 of their peers.
Mhm.
So you get to see the perspectives and understand how well your peers are doing. And every single week, those peer groups are actually shuffling.
Oh, good.
So you're in a different group every week, and by the start to the end of the semester, you've actually got to present quite a bit. You've got
Sure.
to improve, and you've got to see an entire variety of what your classmates have to say about the course material and what is the caliber of their presentation skills via video. So you get to kind of use that as a benchmark as a student to see how well you can do.
So as part of this then, um, I mean, how let's see, how do I want to say this? You mentioned that throughout the course of the semester, they get to see how they're improving. How does that come about? How do you ensure they actually are improving and they're not either stagnating or not regressing, that they've picked up some other quirk or something and kind of, have worked sort of in the way backwards. How does all that tie together?
Yeah, that's actually a common question that sometimes comes up when we're talking to professors is how do you know that the students aren't leading one another astray when it comes to
Right, right.
their understanding of the material? And what we say with that is, it is good to review them. You don't have to review them all. But in a flipped classroom approach, what some professors are actually doing is, let's say it's week 2 and we're covering chapter 2, but in week 3, what we're going to do is we're going to have the students make presentations on chapter 4, so that when we come to class on week 4, they have already discussed outside of class and heard each other's perspectives on the week 4 material. And then we're going to talk about it in class. And I'm
Mhm.
going to, as a professor, eliminate all that doubt that might have been, clouded up during that
Mm,
that week.
that's
So
awesome.
there's different approaches,
Yeah.
but
Well, it,
yeah,
it it's definite that you guys have taken the the technology that's 25%. You've taken the more approach of what's happening here. What's our ROI on the educational benefit of this whole thing? That's the
Mhm.
big deal. I can tell you, I, when I was a kid in high school, I couldn't stand in front of a group of people and perform. Um, I was a great singer, great musician. I just couldn't do it. And what changed that was jazz. So I became a jazz bassist. And improvisation is a big deal. And, we all
yes.
know that, presenting is 50-50. Part
Mhm,
of it's improvisation and getting
mhm.
out there and doing that. And this gives someone an opportunity to sit there and watch it. So, like, when I'm practicing, I've got the Messiah Part 2 coming up here. Yeah, it's that time of year. So
Yep,
I'll sit in front of a mirror and I'll play, with the bow so I can make sure that everything's looking great and that whole bit. And this is just taking technology, putting in that place so I can review it. The mirror's only going to let me
absolutely.
see it one time,
Mhm.
So,
Yeah, absolutely.
yeah.
And I mean, it doesn't necessarily have that impromptu element to it. But again, just the benefit of being able to review yourself over and over again.
Mhm.
Um, Actually, so within the technology, the practiced presentations, they never leave the student's local machine. It's only when they actually go to submit a final presentation that it will upload.
Okay.
Um, but again, as a professor, how many times have you told students, hey, if you have nerves and you're unsure of your presentation skills, go and stand in front of a mirror or practice in front of your friends. But you
Mhm.
don't actually get to see a true number on how many times did that student do that.
Mhm.
So what we do is we actually put in a practice counter so that the professor can see how many times did any student make a practice attempt.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
So
That's cool. Yeah.
yeah, so there is that element to it as well. And we actually, I don't know if you saw the material that I shot over to you there today, but we asked students through a survey that we sent out to a little over 1,000 students, uh, that we asked them, like what is your level of anxiety or nervousness that you feel when presenting online versus what you feel when you actually get up in front of a crowd of your peers.
Yeah.
And it's the average between all of the respondents was 36%. So it's not to say that it's going to match what you feel when you get up in front of a group of your peers, but um, it's not zero, which is the
Right.
important part.
Right.
And because you don't know who it is that's going to be watching your video after you've submitted it, there is
Mhm.
that still that level of preparation that is needed, so that you don't come across, looking foolish to your other students that are
Sure.
in your class.
Yeah, absolutely. So
Yeah.
one of the things I want to get back to that you mentioned was that as the professor is setting up the class, they get to pick three kind of topics. Is that topics based on what the professor is already teaching, or these are topics that you guys provide?
Yeah, so they're empty, they're empty text box, and the professor puts in three topics that are related to whatever the material is that they're covering in that
Nice.
time span.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, a lot of professors too, what they'll do is on the rubric portion, like what we have in there as a pre-fill are things like volume and did the presenter avoid using filler words, et cetera, which are, really they're based around presentation.
Sure.
But what a lot of professors are doing is they're putting in questions like, did this student understand the material well enough to be able to use an example that hasn't been covered in class?
Right.
So, they'll put that into the question, and then they'll actually have each student measure one another on whether or not they've actually applied that. So now it's kind of turned into a bit of an oral assessment. At the same time, it's not so much just about the presentation.
Right. Exactly. Well, and the advantage that at least if I were a student and I was handed this and that was part of the evaluation, then if I were an astute student, I would pick up on that fact and go, "Oh, they're looking for something additional to what we just covered in class. So I had probably better put that in my presentation if I'm supposed to look for that in somebody else's presentation."
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's
No,
cool.
exactly.
So,
Yeah.
so in the grading options that happen for the instructor there, I guess since the student gets to give themselves a grade, and I'm thinking about that. I was just thinking about, so you're doing all this work and then you get to grade yourself because, I mean, and it's funny because we always grade ourselves hard. Then my peers will grade me. So is there a lot of leeway there for the instructor? Do they give a grade, or do they just, is there multiple options there?
Yeah. So so when we came up with it, there wasn't the peer assessment portion of it. It was
Mhm.
just students make presentations online and submit them to the professor. The professor said, "Yeah, this is great, but there's no, I don't have time to look at 60 presentations, right,
Yes,
every single
exactly.
week." So that's when we came up with the peer assessment, and we still wanted to include an element in there so that if the professor so chose, they could go back and make an assessment. And in the assessment, it's not just quantitative based on a rubric, but it's also qualitative. So they can give back written feedback to encourage the student to, change this, or, hey, you didn't really catch it here. But what that empowers the professor to do is, maybe if there is a student in their class that doesn't really participate all that often, they can go and look at their presentations to see whether or not that individual student actually gets it,
Right.
right?
Right.
And so, do they understand the material? I understand that, they might be shy in class, whatever it is. Um, but now I can focus in on the handful of students that I have a concern about, and I can provide them with written feedback. And then my score will actually, so the grade that I give back to the student will affect the average between their peers, their own grade, and the grade that I've given them.
Yeah, that is awesome.
That is awesome.
Yeah.
So along that same line, for the peer grading, digital citizenship, that's a really big deal. And we're pushing it more in secondary school and definitely post-secondary, because that's the digital citizenship aspect. Was when a student gets into a corporate setting, a lot of companies are now using you know pieces of software on site to keep running social media internally. I forget what's the one that I'm thinking of. It starts with an S, doesn't it? Hashtag. Anyway, but they run that a lot. And so my question is that have you guys run into any cyberbullying or anything like that from peer grading and things like that?
That question does come up,
Yeah.
and I'll backtrack a little bit too, because uh, when the when you go back, like I'm a student, I go back and I look at my presentation and I look at the evaluations that are given to me. They're actually all anonymous except for the one given to me by my professor.
Okay.
So a student might think, oh, if I give this evaluation to this peer that I don't like, and I pepper it with profanity, they're not going to know that it's me.
Mm-hmm.
But with that, on the professor side, it's not anonymous. So
Oh,
So,
the professor can actually see all of the different comments and who is saying what to whom.
yeah.
Knock on wood, we haven't had one instance of profanity given back, but it is a question that comes up sometimes.
Sure.
And yeah, I mean, it's I guess maybe it's an inevitability, but
yeah. Well, your
we
platform
haven't
actually
had it
lends
happen yet.
itself to where we all know that you get in the right educational environment, then you're never going to have that problem. Everybody's going to
Mhm.
do the right thing. Everybody's going to support everybody. And your platform
Absolutely.
definitely does that. It gives that
Right.
support. So everybody's like, hey, we're all here to get better. We're all here to,
Mhm.
to back everybody up. So it's pretty obvious that wouldn't happen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, absolutely. Absolutely.
Okay, so I'm going to take this up to the next level then, because as you said,
Uh-oh.
you're looking at, well, I just mean in terms of as far as your current company focus, you're
Mhm.
looking at college and beyond into career. So, are you working with, or are there plans to work with businesses and organizations with their employees who part of their job is public presentation? That perhaps they've hired some folks and that's part of it. Yeah, we need you to do some presenting, but they've seen them presenting and say, okay, yeah, we need to work on this a little bit. Are you guys looking along those lines?
Yeah. So I guess right now we have a bit of a laser focus on the education
Sure.
industry, and we have a few universities doing analysis on what is the efficacy or what is the change in the students' understanding of a topic, using this tool or not using this tool.
Hmm.
So we kind of want to prove ourselves in the educational industry more
Yeah.
than anything.
Yeah.
And I mean, corporate training is, it's huge, and video interviewing is huge. And whether it's,
Right.
whether it's synchronous like this, we're talking over Skype, or
Hmm.
whether it's asynchronous, which is like a recorded video,
Sure.
there is a lot of that, but there are none that cross the chasm between, university and then corporate.
Sure.
So, have we had that consideration? Absolutely. Um, do we want to concentrate? Absolutely. So
Right.
right now we kind of want to, we want to prove ourselves and gain a critical mass, and from there, if we decide that we want to go in that direction, then yeah, I think that there's a reason to. Absolutely.
Yeah. Now, refresh my memory. How long did you say you guys have been doing this?
So the concept started in and around 2014.
Okay.
But we've only really ramped up in our efforts of getting out there and talking to professors in probably about the last year and a half or so.
Hmm.
So we've gained quite a critical mass
Mhm.
in that last year and a half, which has been good.
Oh yeah.
Last week we just had our 30,000th presentation on the platform, which is pretty
Wow.
cool.
Man. Man.
But
Wow.
but but like I mentioned too, we want to improve the platform so that we have more of a value to the professor.
Hmm.
So we want to be able to provide more insights, changes in grading, and what do those mean for different students.
Right.
And then on the student side, we want to be able to provide more value that, be it whether they go further into their education
Hmm.
or whether they decide to go out into the job world,
Hmm.
um, they have a portfolio to be able to do that, right?
Right. Well, and one of the things that would be interesting to follow up on, this is why I was trying to refresh my memory about how long it's been around. As you start to collect, or as you are collecting all of that data, it would be interesting to see the students who have taken part in these types of courses who go on to either more higher ed or they go on to the workforce, to be able to do some kind of like longitudinal studies where you say, okay, you know, you had these you had these courses, basically you had life before these courses, then you had these courses, and now you're in the workforce, and what was the impact on your what's happening to you now? You're basically, what was the future impact of what you were doing at that time? I think
hmm
that would be fascinating to be able to, and I have no idea if that's even something you can glean ultimately, but I think that would be fascinating to kind of follow up on, and follow up with the students who've taken part in those kinds of things.
And so to talk to that, you just kind of made me think. We're in talks right now with a university on implementing it into an intro to university course.
Oh yeah.
And I don't know if you guys are likely familiar with those courses, but it's a first year course. It says, this is the importance of research. This is how you write.
Right.
And the way that they roll them out to students is they say, you guys obviously know all this stuff, but we're just going to give you a refresher.
Right.
Whether they do or not, who
Yeah, they
knows,
don't.
right?
They don't. We all know they don't know nothing.
Well, what's
So
interesting is that you're building your own product up for those leaving the university going into the corporate. And let's talk corporate, not even corporate, startups. Everyone in a startup has to be a salesman. I mean, everyone in a startup has to stand in front of a group of people and tell them about their product and understand presentation and that whole thing. And it's just going to be, and so I use this in my university, and then I go on to a startup with 30 people and I go, listen, hey, this is a great deal, we need to get on board with this because this is what we need to use to train ourselves right here. So I can see where you're moving that into that area. That makes a lot of
yeah,
sense. Makes a lot of
yeah.
sense.
And we've actually we've had at the MBA level, but at the undergrad level too, we've had students use it in entrepreneurship courses to improve their pitch.
Mm.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely.
So for pitch contests, it's we
Oh
have
yeah.
we have student testimonials that say like this is night and day for my ability to express myself succinctly in all of that, right? So
Yeah.
So a couple quick questions and we'll wrap
mhm.
it up. I'm the timekeeper here. If someone wants to try it out, can they go to the website and register and maybe do
So
a quick tryout or a freebie?
yeah, we try to do it as a consultative process as much as we can. We like
Mm-hmm.
to have a personal touch with any professors that have any type of curiosity. We don't want to leave any questions unanswered. So if they have goals specifically, we want to ensure that we are helping them reach those goals.
Hmm.
Um, so we actually have a form right on the very front page. It just says, reach out to us if you're an educator, name, email address, and we follow up with those. But again, if someone is a little more front facing, they want to go at it on their own, then there's a registration button, top right hand corner of the site, and they can go and register for a professor account.
Awesome.
Cool. That's very cool.
Well, we like to wrap up with just exactly what you said, a 45-second elevator pitch, which we also like to use as our sound tag for our podcast. So here it is. You know the drill. It's 45 seconds. You can do 30. You can do a minute. So
You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to pull something up here.
Okay.
Because I have just that, and it's I can't boil it down any better.
okay, that's perfect.
Yeah, that's right.
That's even better. Be prepared. That's why I used to until I'm an old man, and in the old days I'd write it all on my arm. It would all be written right here, so if I needed it.
Just waiting for that elevator ride, eh?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Like a quarterback, you just rip up his sleeve. Hey, here it is.
All right. So we seek professors who feel that there's a gap in their students' professional communication skills throughout their post-secondary education. We're on a mission to help students become better communicators. So we developed an online platform where, to date, students have submitted over 30,000 recorded video assignments instead of written assignments as a part of their university or college courses. And for professors who recognize a need for students to improve their verbal communication skills, Presenters Podium provides students a safe space for them to verbally explain their answers to questions posed by their professors.
Boom.
Awesome. That's
All right.
fantastic.
That's perfect,
Very,
man.
very cool. Before we let you go, I have to say, and I'm sure you probably get this a lot, but I'm going to say it anyway.
Yeah.
As a Star Wars fan, you have one of the coolest names ever.
I can only thank my mother and father.
That's right. That's right.
It did just hit me.
Like, man, how do you not see that?
Hey, Harrison, I'm going to tell everybody they can catch you guys on the web at presenterspodium.com. They can also find you at PPodium on Twitter. They can find you guys. They can find you at Harrison EduTech on Twitter. Any other things you want to share? Facebook, you guys must have a page.
Yep. If you just go on Facebook and search for Presenters Podium, we're on there. For the most part, a lot of professors are likely on Twitter. It seems to be the cool hangout for the profs. So
Sure.
that's where we're at.
Awesome, man.
Hey, it's been a great interview. I hope you've had a good time.
Absolutely. Very cool
Awesome.
meeting with you guys.
We'll be in touch, and if we're ever at the same conference, we got to get you to sit down again. So we will. We'll keep in touch with you.
We'd love that.
Awesome. Hey, thanks,
All right, guys.
Harrison.
Cheers.
All right, thanks.
Thank
Have
you.
a good one, man.
See you now.
Hey, you're listening to EduTechGuys Radio, come to you live from Hope, Arkansas. Beautiful Hope, Arkansas. Nice outside. It was raining. We want to thank Harrison Fisher for coming on with Presenters Podium. What a great interview. We're going to drop out real quick to one of our favorite artists, and that is the great Nick C. And we'll be right back after this.
Well, when I'm calling out your name, will you hear me? Cause honey, I'm just vibing on your energy when you're near me. And I know we have just begun, but I'm glad that we can give it a chance. Cause ain't no better feeling out than falling in love. My heart is not my own, and it's sinking like a stone. I'm completely yours. I'm completely yours. I'm completely yours. I'm completely yours. Well, love, every time that you cross my mind, I think of bright moonlight and a glass of wine and slow dancing on the beach to our favorite song. And if nobody's looking, we can get it on. Well, I know we have just begun, and I'm glad that we can give it a chance. Cause ain't no better feeling out than falling in love. My heart is like a stone. My heart is not my own. I'm completely yours. I'm completely completely yours. I'm completely yours. I'm completely yours. It's the diamond in your eyes when you look at me. The way my hair stands up when I hear you speak. The way my legs turn rubber when you love me down. I said, hey, little lover, can you hear me now? Well, I know we have just begun, and I'm glad that we can give it a chance. 'Cause ain't no better feeling out than falling in love. My heart is not my own. It's sinking like a stone. I'm completely yours. 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 I'm completely yours.
All right, music from Nick C. Completely yours here on EduTechGuys Radio. Thank you guys so much for listening, tuning in, and checking out everything that's happening here on today's show. And I just want to talk real quick about some things that we have coming up.
My
So-
obligatory, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, good stuff, David.
Yeah.
Keep talking about us.
We're going to be on EdChat Interactive on March 15th, and we're going to be talking about the politics of education, and that's hosted through Mitch Weisberg's EdChat Interactive initiative. So
Oh
that's
boy,
going to
the
be.
politics of education.
Like,
David's dreading it because he knows how I can get.
like, this is going to be. You will see quite literally. It is a video interactive EdChat. You will see a side of the EduTech guys that you have never seen before.
Hey, and then the very next day, on the 16th, we'll be broadcasting live from the East Conference in beautiful Hot Springs, Arkansas. So you want to catch that, and be a lot of fun.
Yeah, that's going to be cool.
We're a little busy, and it's starting to roll in because it is the beginning of spring. So watch the website
They
and
see
check
us
out the show.
rolling.
FT's rolling.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll be doing lots of stuff. Hey, you know what time it is? It is time for
Google tip of the week. Nice.
Thank you. You're welcome. I thought it would add a little
We're going to
something
keep
to it.
growing that.
Are
Pretty
we?
soon we'll have a guitar. Oh, sorry. That's not really guitar.
A
That's
little
more of band
Casio.
show, but-
You know.
Oh my gosh.
So
Casio.
no, some really great stuff happened this week. Now, I'm a huge user of Google Keep, and if you're not using Google Keep on your device, it's something to get used to. So you do have to kind of make yourself do it. But what Google Keep is it's a note take. We'll just say it's a note taking app, and just a quick summary of what it does from Google. So you can sign in with your Google user or multiple Google users, and you can save web clippings and pictures, anything you need to save, or you can take notes. And what's really cool is you can share it with other Google users that are also using Keep, so they can see that. Now,
Cool.
Google took it to the next level. So now inside Docs, you can actually go up to the top and you can go to Tools, and you can, underneath Tools, you will see a thing that says Keep Notepad. And if you click the Keep Notepad, it opens up the Keep Notepad on your right-hand side so that you can see all of your notes, or you can even take a note right there. So what's really cool is you can grab anything over there and drag it directly into
Holy
the work
cow.
that you're working in. Yes, add to document. So, or you can say, well, open that and keep, because I just want to take this piece out and paste it in. But yeah, now you can grab anything that's over there, you can drag it over, and you can drop it in. So that makes it very handy dandy. And I just drug it into our show notes so David can see where it popped in right there. Maybe he can. So
I was watching the demo, so yes,
yeah.
I see. Oh, my.
really cool stuff. I highly recommend you take a look at Google Keep. It's a wonderful way to keep notes on iOS and Android. On iOS, it's right down there with a cute little rectangle with the arrow on it. You hit it, under your more, you'll see it in your list of, sending a message. There's Google Keep. Boom. It lets you open a window like it would in Twitter or anything. You can make a couple notes, tell it which account inside your Google you want to save it to, and save it to Google Keep. And then boom, when you're getting your notes together or you're putting together a presentation, you can put it inside your Google Docs.
Dude.
I thought that was a pretty good one for today.
That's very cool.
Yeah, we're getting better. And we're getting prettier. So
I don't know about that.
I am. But, oh, did I tell you guys I was going blind? No. At least by my voice, it sounds pretty. Hey, listen, check us out on the web, www.edutechguys.com. Drop down to the bottom of the page. You can fill out the contact form and get in touch with us anytime. Also, the best way to find us is hop on Twitter, follow us, message us. We'll get right back with you. We share lots on Twitter. We try to keep the old Twitter at least full of 8 to 10 good things on education every day. Great article out there right now. If you want to check it out on EduTech Guys from David. And I highly recommend it, not just because he's one of my good friends and the co-host of this show and the smartest person I know on the face of the planet, but it's make most out of your Twitter with TweetDeck. We use TweetDeck a lot. So I highly recommend you take a look at it. It's kind of a nice get you into it and tell you what the power of it is. TweetDeck is free. It is owned by Twitter, and you can just go to tweetdeck.com and pull it up. But first, go to edutechguys.com and read the blog.
There you go. Read the blog.
Hey, it's been a lot of fun. I'm Jeff Madlock.
I'm David Henderson.
And you know what? We'll catch you next time.
You've been listening to EduTech Guys Radio, radio.edutechguys.com.
The opinions expressed on the site and its programs of those of participants are not intended to and do not necessarily reflect the opinions of any specific educational entity, sponsor, company, state, or government agency.